Hi, I'm Connor.
And I'm Dana. And that's Bean.
And we're here at the Horn Canyon Trailhead, and we're about to hike up to the Pines.
The Horn Canyon Trail is located in the Los Padres National Forest, and it actually continues all the way up to a ridge road at the top of the mountains. But the hike we're doing today to the Pines is just about the halfway point.
Just past the gates of Horn Canyon, there is this section back here with tractors and a big composting pile. But you will see this, you are in the right spot, and you just need to keep going on the trail.
So back in December, the Thomas fire swept through this area and actually damaged a whole lot of this area. As you can see, there's a lot of remnants of burnt brush and things like that. But fortunately now we're several months out from the fire and several rains out from the fire, and so you can see the regrowth is really coming alive and it's starting to look beautiful here again.
So the Horn Canyon Trail is pretty wide, not necessarily flat because we're going uphill, but it's not very hard terrain to hike on. So it's great for families, small kids. Since we are in the Los Padres National Forest, you can bring your dog. And overall, it's pretty easy up through the first couple water crossings. This hike is all uphill, up over the ridge and deeper into Los Padres National Forest. But if you are thinking about taking this hike with your family, it's a great hike to take, and especially up through the first couple water crossings, it's pretty easy and accessible for everybody. After that, it starts getting a little steeper, a little narrower, and maybe a little bit more challenging. Alright, so we're just past the first water crossing, and according to Map My Run, it is just less than half a mile. Just past the third water crossing is also where it starts to get a little bit steeper, a little bit more challenging, and it's just a little bit harder after that. But still pretty nice trail, and getting a little bit more elevation here too, the views start to get a little better as well. So there's a lot of beautiful vegetation out here. A lot of it's burned right now, but a lot of flowers are growing back right now. And the trees are starting to get a little more green on them. Of course, today it's kind of raining, everything's wet. But one thing you do want to watch out for, it's pretty prominent out here, especially when you get closer to the water sources, is poison oak. Poison oak's usually a little bit multicolored, green and red. Can look a lot of different ways, but it can look kind of like oak leaves, depending where you are geographically. But usually pretty green and red. Can vary between there, and the leaves always come in little packs of 3, so you can see if you're wondering if it's poison oak or not. That's one way to tell if it's poison oak.
So we're here at the fourth and final crossing before the trail starts to get really steep as we head up towards the pine, and if you continue further up towards the ridge road, this is your last spot to get water. So even though this hike that we're doing to the Pines today doesn't take you to a peak, you're going to get some pretty spectacular views along the way once you start gaining in elevation.
Getting so wet.
Not me. Super dry.
Needed Bean either. Well, we just made it to the top of the Pines, and even with all the stops for filming and everything else, it took us about an hour and a half. And according to Map My Run, it was about 2.5 miles to get here.
Yeah, and it looks a little different than it has in the past. The trees are all burned and scorched and pretty thin up here. This used to be a campground, so groups would actually camp up here, but now it's a little less hospitable and closed.
We're heading back down the mountain now, and probably a little faster on the way down. It stopped raining quite so much. It's still misty, but feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
So there is lots of wildlife in the Los Padres National Forest. Some animals that can be out and about when you're in the wilderness are in this area, coyotes. There are mountain lions and bears. You'll rarely see any of them, but you do want to have sort of, at least in your mind, thought about plans of action in case you do see wild animals. Don't forget rattlesnakes too, because I forgot to say those. It's definitely something you need to be aware of and keep an eye out for. On cooler days like this, when it's rainy and stuff, you don't usually expect to see them, but definitely when the weather's warm and they've had a chance to sort of get acclimated, that's when you should definitely be on the alert for snakes. On our way down, the fog's been clearing. It's a pretty sweet view right now. See pretty far into the valley and the sun's shining through. Bean's eating some sticks. Hi, Goo. Pretty nice view on the way down though. Well, we just got down to the bottom of the trail. It was a pretty good hike. Nice that it stopped raining and let us warm up just a little bit.
Yeah, you know, we ended up doing about 5 miles there and back, and the elevation change was around 1,900 feet.
And so if you liked this video, if you liked our trail review, please give it a like below. And if you want to see more, please consider subscribing.
Thank you.
Thank you.